Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week before we ended the session, we were discussing a lot about punishment. The Lord, who is normally a witness, comes down to re-establish Dharma, as Swami has said in this at the start of this chapter, and various aspects of punishment, whether he really punishes or not. I was reminded of a story which Swami told once. Maybe I will start with that. Swami says there was a jatka, means it's a horse carriage, which somebody was driving from a station. So one day a passenger got into the horse carriage, and this driver was the jatka driver or the horse carriage driver was riding and taking the cart, and at one point he was starting to beat the horse a lot, and the passenger couldn't understand, and the horse actually ran fast, and then he stopped. So then this passenger apparently asked this driver, why were you beating that mercilessly, that horse? Poor thing, it was not doing anything. Then apparently that driver said, look here, um, we were just coming near a railway station, a railway crossing. And there are some red signs there. And the horse always panics when it sees that. And it runs helter-skelter. And it hurts itself and it hurts others. So before it even looks at it, I start beating it. So he's only paying attention to my beating, that it runs across that railway crossing, and once it crosses, then I just leave it. So I'm beating it because its behavior is such that it will harm himself and others. And to protect it and others, I just have to do this. Not because I don't like the horse. In this situation, that is the best treatment for it. We cannot avoid that. So in the same way, the Lord also sometimes punishes us so that we will pass the railway crossing. Our tendencies don't take over, and we don't land in a bigger problem, a soup. I was reminded of this story by Swami. So I thought I will just tell that and start the session. We can continue to read from where we left off and continue the discussions. Saira.
Yeah, it is so true. In the last sentence says, those who have allowed Rajoguna and Tamoguna to be predominate and Sattvaguna to be extinguished in them, so who have lost all the trace of Daya, Dharma and Dhanam, have to be punished. So the horse was overriding, and then it was showing its Rajoguna and Tamoguna so much that the driver had to control that. He had to put that. I think I just that analogy suits this story which you told.
Yes, and also the horse is always compared to the mind, unsteady, always moving.
Yeah.
So that's sure. Okay, please, sisters, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll read this again then. But they are not the only sadhus. All those who follow sadachara, good conduct, who have satsila, good practices, who adhere to satya, truth, who yearn for the sannidhi, presence of Sarveshvara, the Lord, who observe Sadharma, who considers Sarvajnana, all, as samana, equal, all of them are sadhus. Such characteristics are found among the animals and birds even. In the Ramayana, Jatayu was saved as a result of his guna. Of this guna. That is the reason why the elephant was blessed and the monkeys were given a chance to serve and be blessed with his grace. The same reason prompted the Lord to bless the squirrel. A sadhu is not made by a string of beads, an ochre robe, and a stick in the hand. The clothes one wears and the language one has on the tongue do not decide who is a sadhu and who is not. It is the guna that settles it. All animals have the potentiality to be good. So fostering goodness in all is the best means of ensuring the welfare of the world. Next, the punishment of the wicked. Those who transgress the limits set for each type of genus of animals, those who indulge in akarma, anyaya, injustice or negation, and anachara, immorality, and who roam about caught in the coils of ahamkara, ego, have to be punished. Those who have allowed rajoguna and tamoguna to predominate and sattva guna to be extinguished in them, and who have thus lost all trace of daya, compassion, dharma and dhanam, charity, have to be punished.
Okay, thank you, sisters. Anyone would like to share any thoughts, please?
Hi, Ramakal, if I could just clarify a few of the words. So for sadachara, does achara mean, does chara also mean like movement or something like that?
Yeah, chara is movement. Achara means following something, action.
Okay.
All our action practices is called achara.
Okay.
Activity. Chara also can be activity. So from that sense, it is movement. So any activity is movement. So sad achara.
And sad shila, the shila means?
Shila means character, I would say, better translation. Auntie, என்ன சொல்றீங்க? Shila. Sad shila.
ஒரு நிமிஷம் correct collection.
Shila means generally good character.
అక్రమ ప్రవర్తనలో అన్యాయం అనాచారం ఆలోచనలో
No, auntie, the earlier paragraph it will be.
సమస్త జీవులు వేష భాష సుగుణ స్వభావమే అది కూడా இல்லையா
అట్టి you should go to the previous paragraph.
కరెక్ట్ సత్శీలవంతులై సత్యవాక్ పరిపాలకులై సత్శీలవంతులై.
Yes. So Satshila means, is it good character, auntie?
Good character. Good character.
And can you break down the word sannidhi?
Sannidhi is, Sannidhi is he has written Swami.
Yes, Sannidhi is normally good wealth, if you want to put it that way. But it's also the presence of the Lord is Sannidhi.
Nearness to the Lord.
Nearness to the Lord.
So nidhi means wealth?
Nidhi means wealth. Sat Nidhi becomes Sannidhi. Okay. The real good wealth is God's presence.
Because remember in the Sanskrit class we were talking about nidhana. So is that the same?
Yes, you can say. It's inner wealth. You can say. Actually, inner dhi. Then you again break it down. Dhi means intelligence. Nidhi means inner intelligence. Okay. So that is the real wealth. You can go on like that also. Yes. So Swami says, many people think wealth means dollars, coins and notes. Swami says, no, good qualities is your real. And there are some discourse where he has said, real wealth is good qualities. Okay, so that's what Swami says. But worldly people will think gold and notes, currency notes as wealth, Swami says, which is not. That is Nidhi, just Nidhi. This is Sannidhi.
Right.
In God's presence.
And in terms of the animals being able to also cultivate these qualities, I thought it was distinctly like a human trait to be able to discriminate. And if animals can also do that, then I know there are examples like Sai Geetha, but if so, then what makes them different from us?
What? See, I think there is okay. I will just go first, I guess, before others go. Usually, animals behave just with instinct. Okay, natural instinct. But the thing is, even within the instincts, there can be multiple responses. An animal, I think, is capable of choosing one or other. Number one. Then we can go on to another level. Even animals have the ability to become human in their inner self, because just the way we can become divine means, why can't animals become human? Why won't they be? I'm sure there's some laws at work where they also can get better. They also can cultivate human qualities, because animals definitely exhibit, protective mother, any mother animal, would be protecting its child. It'll sacrifice itself. But there are other mother animals, they will beat and bite the children also, you see. They are small ones. So I think even at the instinct level, you can, you have some choice. And animals have some choice. They may not think with our mind, which they don't possess, but they have certain reactions. There's animals cry when something bad is happening. One of their has died, they will cry. So there are reactions in their mind, and so they have also some choices, I'm sure. That's what Swami is referring to. Okay, that's my take, but others, anyone else who would like to share their thoughts?
So, Sairam brother, I'd like to add one more point, brother. Compared to the animal, even though they behave good, but we have the awakening of the original nature, the divine consciousness, that kind of thinking power to merge with the God and the discriminating power. We all have that one. Thank you, Sairam brother.
Yes, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead.
Sairam, I'm brought to mind, Swami always talks about Sai Geetha. And, when she was dying, he says, she's merging with me. It's maybe 1 in a million, but their affection, their love for one another, especially Sai Geetha's love for Swami, it's sort of like opened my eyes anyway to consider that there are animals also who bring forth this unconditional love. And, we've all had pets, I certainly have. And, looking at her, Dominic and I, used to think she's divine. And many people who've met my beloved dog has passed away. There's some quality about some animals, that will strike you. There's not just animals. They have a special something in them. And whether it's compassion, towards the owner when the owner is sick, or definitely that is also there. But it's something beyond. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I wonder if somebody else can tell me, and you, brother, I don't know, whether these animals have this divine quality also, like Swami says. Saira.
Thank you, sister. I think sister has brought up a good point. See, there is, though I have not heard it directly, there is there's something which somebody told me once, that Swami said Sai Geetha was a rishi in the past. I think, but there are similar instances which Swami has referred to in Sandeha Nivarani, if all of you know, about a rishi, who he was so attracted or who was loving the deer so much, a baby deer, that he was born as a deer and he had to go through that. So I think when someone is born like that, they will still retain some human qualities and abilities, I think so. And they will exhibit to a limited extent. This is the story of the Jatabarada, you know. So he was a sage who was forced to be born as animals, a deer, because he was attached to a deer which he was looking after. And then later on, subsequently, he was born as Jatabarada. So, but he had already reached the stage of realization when he was a deer. So that is also, and then there are a couple of other stories also. Swami said there was someone who was a fish, and then, you know, then he was born. In the womb itself, he realized. These were two examples Swami had mentioned in Sandeha Nivarani. If others remember, we had discussed. Sai Ram. So those are my thoughts. Any other thoughts from anyone, please?
So, brother, just a question in regards to punishment and karma. How this is like, where do you see the difference? This is punishment or karma, kind of. It's one and the same. I don't know.
See the punishment. I think again I will go back to the word Swami has used, sister. Is sikshana. Okay, that is education. So it's God's action which is focused on educating and correcting someone. I think it's correction is a better word, I think. Correcting. So karma is, and the karma phala is action and reaction, fruits of your actions. Whereas in this case, God will say, have mercy, you know, that I want to correct this person. So I think it is beyond the laws of karma, is my understanding.
Punishment is kind of like, it's not giving a room for transformation, right? So correction could be transformed. Yeah. Thank you, Saira.
Correct.
Auntie, is correction is a okay translation?
Correction is it. We have correction centers also, no?
Yes.
Shikshana Kendra. Shikshana Kendra.
Exactly. Shikshana Kendra, correction centers.
Correction centers.
I know the word punishment seems very negative. That's true.
But
and the Swami also came for a transformation on people, right? So it does goes with that.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Saira.
If everyone is okay, then maybe we will go on to the next slide.
Thirdly, Krishna informed Arjuna that the fostering of Dharma is also his work. The word sadhu has another meaning, important in this context. A sadhu is he who does not deviate from his duty, whatever the temptation and whatever the danger. The wicked revel in creating trouble for such men and indulging in acts contrary to the injunctions of the Sastras. What then is the establishment of Dharma? It is acting strictly according to the Dharma laid down in the Sastras, spreading among people the glory and splendor of a life lived in Dharma, stabilizing reverence towards the Vedas and the Sastras, towards God, avatars and Paramapurushas, and the sadhana, spiritual discipline that leads to liberation and blessedness beyond this life. It is called Dharma Samsavana, Dharma Rakshana, or Dharmodharana. Whatever I do, it is all for this high purpose. Nothing is for my own advancement. Those who know this secret can escape birth and death, said Krishna.
Thank you very much, sister. I think there's one or two sentences in the Telugu version which is not translated from the previous paragraph. So I will first ask Auntie to just go over the Telugu. I think two sentences, last two sentences, Auntie.
Okay. Sadachara Nishta Sampannula. Do you want me to that one or?
No, Auntie. Ee moodu vidamulaina Acharanle, something like that.
Yeah, correct. And that is the previous paragraph.
Yeah,
Period.
previous paragraph, last two lines, auntie, were
Yeah,
not
correct.
translated. That's what I realized.
Swami says about Dharma Rakshana.
Yes.
He talks Rajo Tamo Guna Balistulanu, Daya Dharma Damamulu Leni Varlanu, Shikshinchuta. And then Idi Dharma Rakshana. So he enumerates three things. E Mudu Vidamalaina Acharanle, Avatar Lakshman. Because avatars come into this earth because of these three duties which they do. That is, those who are doing anyayam, anacharam, ahankaram, those who transgress their limits, that's one. Second one is rajotamoguna, those who follow are very much indulged in rajotamoguna. Third one is daya dharma damamalu leni varlu. So this is dharma rakshana. Ee moodu vidamulaina acharanamule tana avatar lakshanamani Sri Krishna Paramatma tana avatar dharmamanu Arjunaku cheppenu. These three reasons why again and again avatars come to this world. Is it?
I think that is, otherwise did I jump, auntie? I don't know whether I told something.
This three, I think in the previous paragraph she read that.
Okay.
I think she read it.
Okay.
Yeah, she read it.
Okay. So Swami is talking about those three also.
Three reasons for the avatars to come.
Yeah. Bhakta Rakshana, Dushta Sikshana, and Dharmodharana.
Dharmodharana. In this paragraph, Swami is talking about Dharmodharana.
Yes, yes. Anyone would like to comment on this part where Swami is talking about what is Dharma? He has said, Dharma he has defined, Swami as acting strictly according to Dharma. And then he goes on to say,
who is a sadhu? Who is a sadhu, Swami? తనకు ప్రాణాపాయ స్థితి సంభవించినను తన కర్తవ్య ధర్మమును వీడకుండుటే సాధు శబ్దమునకు మరొక అర్థము.
Swami is telling who is sadhu.
Sadhu. A sadhu is one who does not deviate from his duty, whatever the temptation and whatever the danger. That is the definition given by Swami about the sadhu. And wicked people who trouble these sadhu satpurushulu, who are following Trikarana Shuddhi, Shastra, they are following the Shastras in thought, word and deed. Those who trouble them, they are the ones who are wicked.
Yes, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead.
So, how can we translate it to the 21st century? So, first, who is a sadhu among us?
It's a good question.
We all try as devotees to do as much as possible what Swami is saying, teaching us. I don't doubt anybody, even in this group, we are all trying our very best. But remember, one time we read is the power of our ignorance and the power of our desire to do something about this ignorance. Those are two, competing, forces, and of course depend on our previous karmas and everything. But who is a sadhu? And really, because we see everybody, we don't even think about ourselves. We see everything as wicked right now. A lot of wicked things, right? The media points to it, or we're looking at it in a different way, slanted way, but there's a lot of wickedness going around. And then, as Swami will say, yes, you are my extension of my message. So in our own lives, we are trying to bring Dharma in, right? Living a dharmic life, following Swami's precepts. The question I have is it enough? And is this Swami's job? Where do we draw the line? And we see our efforts are so minuscule, say, Swami, what can I do? Saira, anybody has answer?
Sister, I think the sadhu is coming from the sattvic guna. And here Swami has given some little bit of explanation how the sadhu will do things. Like whoever is spreading the glory and splendor of life lived in Dharma, that whoever directing the other people towards the spiritual discipline and all, they are considered as a sadhu. And here, a lot of people are here in this study circle. They are doing the same service here. That's the way I look at it. Thank you, Saira.
Yeah, there is always a positive way of looking at it. In Telugu, Swami is very clear about Tanaku pranapaya sthiti sambhavinchinanu, even at the risk of his life. If one follows the Dharma, that is sadhu shabdanaku marakartham. It's another meaning. Yeah. And Trikarana Shuddhi, and then following the Shastra, Vihita Dharma.
And brother, in the Bhagavad Gita also, the Krishna is saying, whoever is spreading his message, they will come and merge with me or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? That also is covers here, I think. Whoever's like indulging in spreading or the gods
message.
Messages referring to the Vedas and Shastras, they also, Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, they will merge with him. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. I think you have accelerated the last chapter of the Gita anyways.
No, brother. Here's the last sentence is saying, nothing is own advancement. Those who have know this secret can escape from death and the death.
Okay, Sairam. Brother Dasan, please go ahead.
Yeah, so Sairam, brother, sadhus mean not wearing that orange color robe or just pretending like a rishi, not like that. So sadhus mean the person who live for the welfare of the people and have a sattvic nature and living in the truth and equanimity is the person called sadhu. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam. Sairam, Sister Ananthi, please go ahead.
Sairam, in my interpretation, Swami has given this the statement or interpretation of sadhu who does not deviate from his duty, whatever the temptation and whatever the danger. But Swami also has said in another chapter or the previous chapters that no one is perfect just to fit into the definition or interpretation. That part also Swami has said, and I just thought about exactly what Brother Dasan wrote in a minute ago. Sadhu doesn't need to be in the look, but the way they the way they speak, maybe their words, thoughts, and action, if those three are aligned together and if they act accordingly, those people would deem to be a sadhu, in my humble opinion. And there are so many people in this world. We may or may not be aware, but they would be in different community around the world. They would have done, they are the unsung heroes. We may not know them, but they are the real sadhus. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sister Ananthi.
Moreover, in the previous paragraph also, Swami says, Suguna Swabhavame Sadhutvamanako Mukhya Lakshanamu. Suguna Swabhavam, good character. And Samasta Jeevulandunu Sadhutvamanu Gunamu Kaladu. Kanukalo, Samasta Jeevulandunu Sadhutvamanu, the one who recognizes that goodness in others is also a sadhu. Swami is saying that.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else has something to add?
From what I understand, brother, like from what everyone shared, Auntie shared, and what Swami says here also, who does not deviate from this duty, whatever the temptation is. And I think someone who, and to answer Sister Vijaya's question, I was thinking the same thing too, like, how do we translate that into 21st century, our day-to-day life? How is it possible? I think from what I understood is that being selflessness, not being selfish will cover all that, because if you are selfish, then you will be falling into temptation and worry about danger and everything else when you're doing your duty. But if you are selfless and focused on your duty, then you will not sway into other distractions. I don't know, this is my take on it.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Any other thought from anyone? So I think, yes, please go ahead, Sai Sadesh.
Yeah. So I think this is in line with earlier we had discussed this story of Yudhishthira seeing everyone as good and himself as the person who needed improvement, versus Duryodhana, who saw everybody as wicked and feeling that he is the person who is correct. So just adding to the points mentioned previously, I think when we say that selfless, it's meaning less of the self. So from the perspective of it's like usually it's said that when we see faults and mistakes in others, that is from the perception of what we see from within. So it is more like every small fault that we find within ourselves, we have to magnify it and eliminate it. And when we perceive the faults of others, we try to let go of it as more of forgive and forget. That attitude, because at every point it is more of approaching as to seeing how do I correct my vision of the same thing. Yata drishti tata srishti, as is the vision, so is the perception of the universe. So I do understand that with so many things happening in the universe, we may feel that the responsibility is on others for whatever is the state. But at the same time, that macrocosm is manifested within the microcosm that is us. So it also comes down to fault finding within our own self for correction. Like even the earlier part, like how the ocean would throw away any of the small dirt that would come into it, as Dattatreya was looking at the ocean's behavior. So any small blemish that comes into it, we look deeply at that within us and try to push it away. And in that process of trying to remove that from within us, it's more like the cataract that we cleanse our vision, and so what we start seeing changes. So as much as we are agonized by seeing what is happening outside, if we have that clarity of vision from the inside and work on the self within, I think that slowly the outside disturbances will melt away. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thank you. Any other thoughts from anyone? So, just to summarize, I think very well stated by everyone. The reality is, whatever time we work on, but what I think the lessons of Swami applies to us individually. And I think all of us are good at times and bad at times. Swami himself has said, there's no one who is fully good, fully bad. But the reality is there is some good qualities in us and we need to nurture them. And Swami is, I think, giving us the yardstick to measure ourselves. Every time our thought comes or we indulge in a word or action, we can just check it against this yardstick and see whether it falls under which category, and then maybe self-correct ourselves. So Swami is providing that. I think then we are aligned to Swami's mission. I think that's the last sentence where he's saying, whatever I do, it's all nothing. Those who know the secret can escape birth and death. So if Swami is doing that, just we will help him so that he doesn't have to waste his time on us by self-correcting ourselves. So that way we are part of his mission. And that way Swami says we will save ourselves. Those are thoughts which came loud and clear from everyone. Very nice discussion. Nice question from Sister Vijaya and very good sharing by everyone. Thank you. If there are no other thoughts, maybe we'll move on to the next slide.
Sai Ram, brother. I just wanted to bring out a
Yes.
point, like when sisters mentioned about the 21st century, it reminded me about one of the past presidents of India. His name is Abdul Kalam. And I feel somehow he lived a very sattvic lifestyle, because when he died, all they found was like maybe 2 pants and 4 shirts or something, his possessions. And he had umpteen degrees and he had so many books he had written, and he did everything good for the people. He was a pious, good man. And I think like living a simple life, like sattvic and, simple life, giving to others and looking at people's goodness, and he did a lot of good. We can follow his footsteps and, learn also, leading towards obviously he was a worldly man like us, but it's hard to be both a sadhu and living with worldly responsibilities. So it's a continuous development in self.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
To feel that the Lord is away, afar, separate from you, that is called paroksha jnana. To feel that the Lord, who is immanent in the universe, is in you also as the Atman, that is avaroksha jnana. If all activity is moved by the dedicatory spirit, the chitta, inner consciousness of man can be rendered pure. Only those who have pure consciousness can recognize the divine nature of the Lord's janma, birth, and karma, said Krishna. All cannot so recognize them as divine. Yet, no one should avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. Try your very best and utilize every chance. There should not be any lapse on your part. This is emphasized in the 10th sloka of this chapter, where the signs of the adhikari, the deserving candidate, are given. Arjuna, not all can understand the divyatvam, divinity, of my janma and karma. Only those who are free from attachment, hatred, fear, and danger, only those who are immersed in the name and form of the Lord, who know of no other support than me, who are sanctified by the knowledge of the Atma, only these can grasp it. Those who seek me undeviatingly, possessing Satya, Dharma, and Prema, will reach me. This is absolutely true. Take it from me. Give up any doubt you may have. Men render the inner consciousness impure by dwelling on the objective world through ignorance. They take delight in mere saddha, sound, rasa, taste, gandha, smell, etc. When they seek objective pleasure, they are tempted to secure the objects that give the pleasure. Foiled in the attempt, they get restless, hateful, and afraid. Fear robs man of his mental resources. It creates anger that cannot be easily pacified. Thus, desire, anger, and fear are aroused one after the other, and those three have to be removed. Arjuna, revolve in your mind these facts and then act. Become reasonable. Have faith in my words.
Thank you very much,
It
sister.
is resolve instead of revolve. I think it should be resolve. Resolve in your mind. Isn't that?
Okay, I think so. What Swami is saying, Auntie, in
Yeah, Telugulo.
Yeah, resolve make sense.
Resolve is the correct word, I think. Maybe spelling mistake, that's all. Printing mistake, rather. Anyway. The 10th shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Swami is quoting, Vitaraga Krodha,
yes.
Manmaya Mamupashrita. That's, what made me think about this was, which university Swami went, which Bhagavad Gita book did he read, which library did he go. He is sitting in his room and writing this Upanishad Vahinis, this Vahinis, and he quotes from exactly, in the 10th chapter, the 4th chapter, 10th shloka. Oh, I was really, what proof do we need? Do we need more for the omnipresence of Lord? He is all-knowing. Sorry. Ram. That's what is enough.
Sai Ram. See, Swami is bringing about so many concepts here. He's just filled it with so much. He's talking about paroksha jnana, aparoksha jnana, that is seeing the Lord outside, seeing the Lord within. And then Swami goes on to say that if these two drive all of our activities, then only our chittam can become pure, and so on. And then Swami, the last two sentences, no one should avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. Try your very best and utilize every chance. It's a call. Sometimes how much time we allot to Swami. That means opportunity every minute of our life. So I thought those also a couple of things which stood out for me. I will stop here. I will open it up for discussion. There's so much to discuss. I think we can even go paragraph by paragraph if it's okay. Why don't we just focus the discussion initially on the first paragraph? If everyone would agree, we can do that. That way we don't miss any of because just the way every opportunity, every word of Swami is filled with so much. So we should not miss, please. So let's discuss. Anyone who would like to comment on anything which Swami has talked about in the first paragraph, which we have ahead of us?
Brother, I have one here. There's a word says one should not avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. That is also, if you have no grace, you cannot. So that also you have to earn it to get the darshan of the human forms. Thanks.
In Telugu, does it say avatar there? Auntie, you're muted, by the way.
In the
Auntie, the Tanakante, that paragraph, Auntie.
Ante bhaktudu anyamga ekado unnada, that line. What line you want, Kalyani? You want?
So actually from the first part there, where it says, if all activity is moved by the dedicatory spirit, what does it say for dedicatory spirit? The chitta can be rendered pure. After it says aparoksha.
Bhagavat Paramuga Narachina Variki Chitta Subhuddhi Kalugu. Chitta Subhuddhi Kalugu Nani Telipenu. Bhagavantuni Janma Karmalu.
Auntie is talking about Abharoksha, just a little ahead of Auntie.
Yeah, Sarva Karmalu.
Yes.
Oh, Bhagavantuni Janma Karmalu Divyamulani Telusukomavareno. Is that she wants? No, I don't think. She wants.
She starts. I think the second sentence, Auntie.
Sarvavyapi and Paramatmudu, Nalone Atma Surupamana Unnadu Bhavame Aparoksha Gnana. That is, I think it's clear. Isn't that, Kalyani?
Yes, it's the sentence right after that.
After that.
Yeah.
Sarva Karmalu, all activity. Bhagvat Parmuga Nonchina Variki Chitta Subhuddhi Kaluguno. It's written, there. If all activity is moved by the dedicatory spirit, Chitta of man can be rendered pure. The same thing here written.
So
exactly.
So meaning everything you should do is an act of sacrifice to the Lord?
Or offering it to the Lord may be better.
Yes.
Offering.
Bhagavat Paramuga Nanarchina. I am only a tool, an instrument. I am doing God's work.
Oh, okay.
Bhagavat Paramuga Nanarchina Variki. On behalf of Lord, you are doing your duty.
Okay.
I think that is the word exactly.
And Subhuddhi means pure, I guess?
Yeah, purity of your chitta.
And then can you just read the rest of the paragraph?
Last sentence also?
Just the whole rest of the paragraph from there?
Oh, okay. Swami calls Bhagavan, the avatar, as Janma Karmalu. Bhagavantuni Janma Karmalu Divyamu. Divyamalani Telusukomavalenu. What is that? It's the divine nature of the Lord's Janma and Karma. Bhagavan's avatar is divine.
And is there a sentence after that to it?
Aite Mahaniyulu matrame Divya Karma Janmalanu Gurtinchagalu. Only very few people can recognize this Bhagavan's Divya Janma.
Divine birth.
Divine birth.
Okay.
Andariki sadhyamayedi kadu. All cannot do that. Atlani antarito prayatnamanam manakurdu. You should not stop there. Sadhyamainanta varaku, as far as possible, try to do your effort to recognize that divinity. That is why Swami goes to that 10th sloka of chapter, 4th chapter.
Yeah, so that one sentence didn't come through. Swami says, Atlani antatito prayatnamu manakudadu.
That I think all cannot so recognize them. Yet no one should avoid contact. That is what I think it's making.
That's the way they have translated. But what Swami says is, just recognizing the divinity, you should not stop.
Stop there. You should not stop.
People who are, who are good will be able to recognize the divinity. But once you recognize the divinity, you should stop. You should not stop with that. That's what Swami is saying. And then Swami says, try your very best to utilize every chance.
And become an adhikari. Become a rightful person to know Swami's avatarful, Bhagavan's avatarful.
So just to clarify, that sentence where it says, yet no one should avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. That one is not there?
No.
It is different. It is worded in a different manner.
It's saying that you should recognize the avatar as divine, but just recognizing that you should not stop there.
Stop there.
And then try to try your very best and utilize every chance. Is that there?
Yeah. Correct. That sentence is okay.
So what is that referring to? Try your very best and utilize every chance to do what?
சாதனா
auntie, go ahead.
நீங்க சொல்லுங்க சொல்லுங்க.
நீங்க ரீட் பண்ணுங்க. நான் என்னோட
இல்ல நீங்க படி. just I will read that sentence.
Yes, please, auntie.
అయినంత వరకు ప్రయత్న లోపము లేకుండా రాకుండా చూచుకొనవలెను. As far as possible, there should not be any lapse in your effort.
Prayatna lopam. Yes.
Your effort.
Lekunda.
Yeah, that is the last.
Lekunda rakunda.
Don't allow it to come.
Swami is saying, without lapse in your effort, and also seeing that it doesn't come to you also, that kind of tendency.
Yeah.
Okay, so means externally also it should not come, you also should not give up. And you, Swami is nicely, you have to make sure that such situations don't come from outside also. That's what Swami is saying. Sorry, auntie.
Correct.
Yeah, Swami says you don't reduce the activities in making that effort, and also make sure that you don't make sure that others from outside also it doesn't happen to you. Look out for such things. That's something of that.
And this is all referring to, so try your very best and utilize every chance to do sadhana or to recognize the Lord. Or
Yeah.
Then he says, Andukane e adyanta. See, Swami saying, we should not stop with that, Swami has said. Okay? But that means you have to do more than that. And for that effort, don't ignore any opportunity. And don't let things disturb that also.
Indirectly, it means sadhana, isn't it, Arun?
Sadhana.
That's all.
So utilize every chance to do
that.
Okay, there should not be any lapse on your part. Yeah, that's the part.
There should not be any lapse on your part.
Then Swami is going on to say what we have to practice. I think that's what.
Yeah, that's what. Kama Krodha.
Yeah, okay. Yes, Sister Vijaya, please.
Sai Ram, I'm brought to mind, Sister Ananti was there and she did a wonderful job at the Sai Awareness course yesterday when Brother Dr. Veda Vishwanathan, he spoke. And one of the things that struck me with here is that, and this is so brilliant. This paragraph is so brilliant because the difference between secular knowledge and spiritual knowledge. You remember, it's secular knowledge, we learn about the virus or we learn about biology. It's an object, it's in the world. But here, if you study the Lord, Brahma vid Brahma bhavati. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. When the Noah, what do you call it? You want to study the Brahman, you become the Noah. You are already the Noah, but studying about Swami and immersing ourselves, it is not a secular knowledge we are looking for. When we study about God, especially Swami, those of us, very few people in the world, so few, even in an extensive family. I'm shocked at how many my brothers, my cousins, how many, look down on Swami and look down on your practice. I'm sure all of you have experienced it. But the peace, the knowledge, the wisdom of this, the Atma knowledge, it's very profound. And that's why the divine nature of the Lord, even if you can't stop it, that the immense joy you have, right? It's realizing God is, you are God, that comes from the study of Brahma, study of Swami and the saints, especially Swami. Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, Brother Tasan, go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother. When Avatar comes, only few people believe that he is an avatar, because that is the lack of knowledge. Their mind is not pure, the heart is not pure. So if you know the Atmic knowledge, you are not going to miss the avatar. So they will take all the opportunities. Some people understand when the avatars leave that motor coil, that's too late for them. Even though they can follow that one, even if you take the Christianity or any religions, they follow the avatar after so many years. So when the avatar is here, if you believe in your Atma, God is everywhere within you, around you, above you. And if you have the consciousness about the Atmic consciousness, you are not going to miss the opportunities. If others don't have that opportunity, you have to work on the spiritual, you have to understand, then you'll get the darshan from the avatar. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brothers. Thank you.
Uncle, why is it called Chitta Subhuti? Because isn't Chitta one part and Buddhi is another part of the Antakarana?
See, Swami is Chittam should be, I think, combined with Subuddhi. That's the way I understand.
Yeah.
A Chittam, which is combined with Subuddhi. See, Chittam has a tendency of getting dirt. Chittamala, but Subuddhi will cleanse it. I think Swami already spoke about the cleansing of the spirit. Chitta of the man can be rendered pure.
Yeah.
That is why. So with Subuddhi, with good Buddhi or divine Buddhi, you will be able to cleanse your Chitta. I think that's what I think the person who translated has said Chitta Shuddhi. Okay. But Swami has used the word Subuddhi.
Subuddhi.
With Subuddhi only you can cleanse. But Subuddhi is also discrimination, or knowing that God is divine. The God is the Atman, you are the Atman. All that knowledge, which Sister Vijay and I was telling, when you know that you dwell on the Lord so much that you become the Lord, you will also become the Lord. That's the purifying process, which is Subuddhi, which leads to Shuddhi also. So I think, that's why translation, sometimes Swami would have written something and the person may have read it, and got some message, and that's sometimes the translations slightly deviate. So that's why we are reading the Telugu also. So Subuddhi comes, your discrimination becomes very sharp and very divinized, and through that the Chittam also is cleansed. I think so. The translation is not very far off. That's my understanding. Okay.
I hope the Telugu translation is benefiting others also, those who don't know Telugu language also. I hope so, because often we refer to Telugu, Swami's own words. Sometimes it gives a better, clear understanding what is said here.
Because the Sanskrit words ultimately, and which Swami has used, have so much meaning.
Yeah.
That's why Swami didn't give his discourses or write in English, because some of the thoughts cannot be expressed adequately in other languages. So Swami chose Telugu.
Yeah.
And he has made it possible for us also to have that access. That itself is his own grace and miracle. That's all we can say.
Exactly.
He has given us that Subuddhi.
And for the benefit of others, I think, Arun,
yes,
we should go through that shloka of Swami, what he is referring to as
Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha.
Manmaya Mamupasritaha.
Yes, Auntie, please. That is in the. So that's the next paragraph. So we'll start off with that. So Auntie will read the 10th the Swami, the shloka which Swami is referring to.
Okay,
when Swami refers to a shloka, that means he wants us to do some homework.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why should he say 10th shloka? So at least we'll read that shloka. So
See,
it's a good opportunity. Auntie, please go ahead.
Yeah. The beauty of it is Swami is referring to a particular shloka, and then he gives the number also, 10th shloka, and he gives the chapter, 4th chapter. So it was really, I know I was a little bit moved when I read it. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashritaha Bahavo Gnana Tapasa Puta Mad Bhava Magataha. Freed from attachment and fear and anger. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. absorbed in me, manmaya, upasrita, taking refuge in me. And bahavo gnana tapasa puta madbhava magataha, purified by the fire of knowledge, you may have attained my being. So you may attain my being by doing this, Swami is saying.
So Swami is saying bahavo, that means many.
Many.
Many have
Gnana tapasa.
used this path of, and yes.
Gnana tapasa is the fire of knowledge.
Yes.
So puta means pure. They become
Purified.
Mad bhava magataha. They come to me. They attain me.
And it also means my nature comes to them.
Yeah, my nature comes.
My nature comes to them also. Mad bhavam, my nature. My qualities come to them, which is what Sister Vijayana, whether knowing or unknowingly, she said, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. That is, the bhava comes to you, which is what that shloka is telling.
One more thing I want to add. This Swami is giving completely the technique of self-development. How we can improve ourselves, how we can assess our own self, and then how we can become a better person. Swami is giving this, and he's referring to this shloka, and he says, this is the sign of the adhikari, a deserving candidate. He should have this. Swami is saying that. Sairam.
So I think there are three qualities which we should watch out for. Raga, Bhaya,
Krodha.
So whenever there's attachment, then we should say, okay, the sign should go off, the light should go off, and say something is wrong, just watch out. Bhayam, we are afraid of anything also, the warning light should go, the warning bell should go in us. And Krodha, whenever there is hatred, anger and hatred, then also it should go off. We should remove them, because without removing them, we will not be able to see the Lord. I think that's the message, the techniques, the science, or whatever I'm trying to put.
Technique of self-improvement.
So anyway, I will open it up. Please, anyone would like to share any thoughts, please?
So that means, brother, so when the avatar came, so in this world, billions of people are there. Only few millions people able to understand or heard the avatar's name. And out of that one, only few people visited Puttaparthi. Only few people got the Pada Namaskara. It's all whatever they did the good deeds and everything. So when you follow the Satya, Dharma, Prema, then you will get the blessing and the grace of the God. Then if you develop the hate, fear, and discrimination, it's not there, then you won't understand. So this is my understanding, brother. Saira.
Thank you very much, brother Saira. Any other thoughts, please? Yes, sister, please.
So my concern is, how do I speak even to a family member? I'm not proselytizing anything, but I would love them to have this joy of knowing God. And who am I to say, oh, I've got the grace, you don't have the grace? We are all Atma, we are all Swami in everyone, right? So I write a lot. I write a lot in my newsletter, and I have a very good number of people who follow, in the social media, and I always think, what is the best service I can do? And so when you write about something close to them, and Swami has given an example, you cannot talk about high-flying things to people who don't understand. Like, for example, a farmer, they only know the land, they know about the animals. You can only speak at their language. And brother, I don't know, you said it beautifully the last time, when you're being loved and you talk about love, in all the different ways, cooperation, partnership, not competition. And you see some people with attachment, hatred, anger so much in this world, and everybody is in some way or the other affected. So I'm just asking, how can you bring some peace? I believe in meditation. I teach meditation classes, but there is something that, about turning in the direction of, say, gratitude or love or something close to everybody's heart. Love for family, love for themselves, self-care. Is that the path that we need to take with other people? And I don't spread about Swami or anything, but it is his message that needs to go out at this time, I feel. I just don't know what everybody else will say. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. So sister has asked a question about what's our role. Is there something which we should do with others also? And so I will just open up any comments from others.
So, Sairam brother. So most of the people, they think the happiness only comes from the worldview object, and they try to spend most of their time satisfying their five senses. If you look at most of the people, that's what all over the places, five, anger and everything. When you have desire, it definitely is going to be end up with anger. So if you avoid the desires, try to avoid most of the desires, try to practice that one, then you have to look for the permanent bliss where it is. And most of the people, they think it is very difficult and they don't want to try that one. But you have to put efforts, then you will experience the happiness. So that is everyone's dedication and their hard work. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam brother.
Yes, Sairam.
Maybe as a follow-up to that, or maybe it could be a different the question or in about the paragraph we are currently discussing. This sentence is really caught me. Only those who are free from attachment, hatred, fear, and anger, who are immersed in the name and form of the Lord, who know of no other support than me, who are sanctified by the knowledge of the Atma, only those can grasp it. So that means that all these conditions or criteria to be met in order to get the grace of the Atma, or in order to enjoy the bliss. So say for an example, if we have, most of us, we know we have some support, the family support, friends support, or any other support. But Swami, one of the criteria or conditions, Swami put it here, who know of no other support than me. So those people, they have other supports, they have lesser chance to get the grace of God.
They have lesser chance. The last
Because
sentence.
Swami put all these criteria. One of the criteria, we shouldn't have any support other than God. So most of us, we have family support, parent support, children's support. So we have less chance than the people, they don't have any other support. Is that true?
Okay, good question.
Anandi,
Yeah.
Sairam, that paragraph is completely a translation of this shloka which I just now read. It says it's not the support, It's not the support. What he is trying to say is taking absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, purified by the fire of knowledge, may have attained that. That means it's not the personal support which you are getting from others. It is complete absorption in the Lord, and complete dedication to the Lord, complete surrender to the Lord. That is what is meant here. The whole paragraph is the definite definition of that shloka. I mean, the meaning of the shloka which I just now read out to you.
So according to the true meaning, O Didi, it would give us the maybe different meaning of that particular line.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I thought that maybe that particular clause, it brings out maybe the meaning of that whole thing. That's why I wanted to ask that question. Thank you, Saira.
Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, attachment, fear, and anger. Manmaya, Mamupashritaha. You come and absorb yourself in me and taking refuge in me. Mamupashritaha. That is what it means. There is no question of your support or anything like that. Translation is a little bit confusing for people. I think so.
Thank you so much, Auntie. And the previous paragraph also, I have had the same set of doubt about no one should avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. And Auntie nicely explained, that's a very different meaning, from the literal meaning of that sentence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kalyan. Arun, I think what I read out, the translation in English of this shloka.
Yeah, I think that's fine, Auntie. Yes.
That's absorbed in me.
Yeah, manmaya is absorbed in me. You become
taking refuge in me, complete in me. That is what Swami is trying to tell here. I mean, Krishna is telling, Swami is saying the same thing.
In Telugu, what Swami is saying about support, Auntie, does it say that, no?
రాగద్వేష భయక్రోధముల నుండి వేరైన వారును నా చింతన నా రూపము, those who are my name and my form, that's somewhere it comes here.
Yes.
Those who are immersed in the name and my form, నన్ను విన అన్య ఆశ్రయమును ఎరిగిన వారు.
Yes.
Nobody knows except my ఆశ్రయ and ఆత్మ జ్ఞానముచే పవిత్రమైన వారును. Those who are purified by the realization of the Atma, na divya janma karmala nerigi satya dharma premalato nanne vedukuvarno nanne ponduduru. Those who, the same thing, I think it gives
the ashrayam. So the ashrayam that has been translated as support. I think that's the reason.
Nannu vina anya ashrayamunu erugani varu.
Yeah, so
that is what.
Ashraya means
Ashraya means refuge.
Refuge. Those who take refuge.
Okay, Brother Sai Satish, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Anna. So just adding to the earlier point and then coming to this as well. So there's the story of a guru and disciple who are going by and they see a pig that is caught in a barbed wire. And immediately the disciple goes and he gets the pig off that barbed wire. And then the guru asks him, why did you do such a thing? And he says, because the pig was feeling a lot of pain. And then the guru clarifies that actually you felt the pain within you and you couldn't stop that. So you rushed and relieved the pig from that barbed wire. So when sister was earlier mentioning about the relatives or friends who do not know about Swami's thing, so the pain is within us about them not tasting that nectar. So while we can have that kind of effort and prayer to see that they are blessed to taste that nectar, we also know that it is within us that we feel that pain or the thing. So if we can do it in a very selfless and a very non-attached fashion, where we pray for their betterment, we will not feel that pain, because ultimately we are feeling that within us. So that is one with regard to the earlier point. And coming to this point with the refuge thing, there is that story of Krishna Arjuna where they visit a Brahmin. He has only a one cow and to support, and whatever little comes from that cow as a milk, he offers it to Lord Krishna when they go in. And Lord Krishna, while leaving, he tells, let the cow pass away. And the same Krishna and Arjuna go to Duryodhana's palace, and there Duryodhana ill-treats Lord Krishna, but while leaving from there, Lord Krishna blesses him, saying, may you have plenty of riches. So Arjuna is completely at loss. There, the Brahmin who had only one cow, he is offering his whole being to Lord Krishna, but there Lord Krishna says, may that cow pass away. And here Lord Krishna is saying to Duryodhana, may your riches be there. So it is more like when that single thing that the Brahmin is dependent on, that cow also passes away, his complete source or refuge becomes Lord Krishna, and he will hold on with that intensity to the Lord. So it becomes the Lord's responsibility to take care of that person. Whereas in the case of Duryodhana, he gets lost and entangled in the riches. So for him to really get back to the Lord as a refuge will take a little longer. So if that intensity or that pining, like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was holding the head of Narendra under the water and saying that if you pine with that intensity, when he came out gasping for breath, he was pining to take that breath that would keep him alive. So if we pine with that intensity for being in proximity of the Lord or seek refuge of that Lord, then we get that true feeling of oneness with the Lord. So that kind of when it went to support, I got reminded of that, more of taking that intensity of pining, that want of merging with the Lord, that seeking the Lord, anyata sharanam nasti, like we say, other than Swami, there is no other refuge. If that intensity we go, then the true meaning is realized. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, Brother Yoga Kumaran.
Yes, very quick things. Once you come to the Swami, don't run behind the other sadhu and sannyasi or Koro people. That is a very important thing. Swami always with us every time. Thank you, sir.
Can you repeat, brother?
Oh, Sairam. Because once we come to the Swami's fold, you know Swami, who is he? Who is he? And we shouldn't go behind the other Okoro people or the sadhu sannyasi. Yes, stay with Swami. You will physically not here also. You know that Swami is with us. He will answer all your questions. You have to go seek any refuge to anybody. 100%. You have to be stick with that. Thank you, sir.
Sairam, brother. Yes, brother is saying that we should not take refuge in anyone.
Yes.
You know, that's the type of devotion and faith. So very nice explanation, Brother Yoga.
Very nice, brother.
Yes, I think Sister Narmada had raised her hand, but then I think she dropped
Yes,
it.
Sarah Anna. Yeah, I think Brother Satish explained that. I was going to answer speak about Sister Vijaya's point as well. You know, when we want to share about Swami or the bliss that we feel with others, and sometimes I feel that you know, while Swami says, you know, be the change you want to be, right? So, and in due time, others will get it. I think I read somewhere or someone shared it with me. Swami always says, like, you don't need to advertise him or you don't need to explain everything, because everyone will come to him in due time when their time comes. So I always believe that you know, we be the change that we want others to see, or if we practice it, and from that others will get to know, and when the time comes, they'll come. And Brother Satish explained it very nicely as well. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Yes, Brother Thasan.
Brother, I like to add to the Yoga Kumaran point too. When God is the one only refuge to us, but satsang is very important. It could be Sai Center, It could be any other places. If the satsang is good for teaching same thing, whatever Bhagawan's thing, that is acceptable, is my opinion. Thank you, Saira.
Sai Ram, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Any other thoughts, please? It's 4:21. Any other points anyone has on the last paragraph, if there's anything?
Sarah Mati, you're on mute.
Maybe I will just comment on a couple of questions which have been posed. Some thoughts came up, so I thought. See, the thing is, one of the things which we find is the Swami has given only a few people with certain characteristics will be able to recognize. I think the first thing is, even though we know of Swami, we sort of, are we making the full use of that knowledge is, I think, which all of us have to ask ourselves. Number one. Number two, how do we help others also get the same benefit? In Tamil, they will say, "Nan petra inpam parugai vayam." Whatever joy we got, let the world also benefit from. That is a prayer which people have. But I think one of the things we should understand is that some of the people, even however much we may tell, they may not be able to benefit. It is like, I will just give a personal example. I think all of you will have similar examples. So I have two disabled children and they will never know of Swami. They will never do any sadhana. They will never be able to go to work. They will never be able to earn a livelihood. So I have thought about this quite a bit. I am reading, I am studying, I am doing all sadhana. What about the children at home? When will they ever get, and their entire life will go past like this? So it used to bother me a lot, and I used to ask some guidance from Swami. And the lesson, the inner revelation which Swami gave, I would say to me was, look here, one day I was just thinking about it and sitting in front of Swami's. Then Swami says, look here, they're small children. Are they able to go to work today and earn a livelihood? No. In your case, they may never learn. Okay. Why are you worried? So what can you do in that situation? You go and earn and share the wealth you have earned, any money you have earned with them. Provide for them. That is your job. If that is the same thing in the worldly sense, it is the same thing in the spiritual sense also. See, if others are incapable, let's not worry about it. When are they going to get? No, we go and earn the spiritual wealth, the San Nidhi. And that Nidhi can be shared and others will benefit from it. And that's good enough because the Lord will know. And when they grow or to that level, when they cultivate that ability, they will learn for themselves. And the Lord is in a better position to draw them and give them the lesson, just the way the Lord has given us. So your job is to go do what you do, the best job you can. Whatever you make, you come and share with them. So that is applies to the spirituality also. Number one. There's another example Swami has given, which is, see, if there's a magnet, if an iron is continuously connected to that magnet, that also the magnetic force will pass through that also. So the thing is, our job should be, if somebody can't go close to the magnet, we should be so much in constant touch with that magnet. That magnetic force can flow through us. But that is a lifetime effort for us. And that is the way we spread the love of the Lord. That is the way we spread the divine energy from the Lord. Others may never be able to because of their own limitations. We should not worry about it. They may be in a growth stage, they may be at a lower stage, whatever it is. We cannot fathom the reasons why we have been blessed with this. So we make the maximum, we become a conduit, we earn the Sannidhi, and we spread. That is, I thought I will just share that thought because that's the reality. And we should not worry. We should not worry. No bhaya, no fear, no attachment. Oh, they are ours, so they should get it. No, the world is also can get. You walk on the street, others will also benefit. So sometimes our attachment is the reason for worry. Just like Arjuna was worried about his relatives, his guru going to die is going to bother him. It is not. Sometimes the attachment causes us to worry about others. No, we just become the conduit. The Lord will do the job because He has immense love, much beyond compare than what our minuscule of compassion is. His compassion is limitless, like an ocean. His love is limitless. So if we feel a pain, do you know how much the Lord will feel? How much the Lord will feel? He wants to give. He wants to help everyone. So I think let us do our best. Let us earn the Sannidhi as much. And without our knowledge, it will get spread. Without our knowledge, others will taste the same Lord who we want others to taste. That is why Swami said, let your life be my message. Let the people taste you, through you, my love. I think that's what, but nice question from Sister Vijaya, but I was just, I was overwhelmed by these thoughts, so I thought I will share. I'm so sorry I took too much time. Thank you, Saira. If anyone else has something to say, please go ahead. We have a couple of minutes.
Sairam, brother, maybe then today we have arrived at the closing time. Maybe next week we all know how to really control our attachment, hatred, anger. We can we can think and and we can make under control all these three: attachment, hatred, and anger. But the fear part, sometimes it comes without knowing us. I have a question: how to control the fear, or how to suppress the fear? That part, maybe if someone gave some hints or some techniques, how to control the fear. Because Swami also said even in the last paragraph, thus desire, anger, and fear are aroused one after the other, and these three have to be removed. Knowingly, with the intellectual faculties, we can control the desire, control the anger, and fear. I don't know how to control that fear.
Yes, it needs a lot of explanation. I think next week we should work upon it in detail. In detail, we can.
Yes, sister, I'm afraid that if we take up that, it will go on. So I'm so afraid of that. So we will take it up. A very nice question for us to ponder over. How do we overcome fear?
Yeah.
And we will fearlessly discuss it at the next session.
Yeah. And also one little, what is the good Tamil word for the dedicatory spirit?
Tamil word for?
Dedicatory spirit.
Dedicate your spirit.
Yeah, I believe that is in the first paragraph in the fifth sentence, fifth line. First paragraph, fifth line. If all activity is moved by the dedicatory spirit, the chitta mind, and
that's what in the Telugu Swami has written Bhagavat Paramuga. On Bhagavat Paramuga, నోనర్చిన వారికి చిత్త సుబుద్ధి కలుగును. That's what Swami said. I think it's a dedicated
spirit is offering and
everything to God. தமிழ்ல என்ன சொல்றான்னு கேக்குற? சமர்ப்பண பாவ.
கர்ம ஸ்தாபனம்.
அல்ல சமர்ப்பணம்.
I think.
சமர்ப்பணம். இந்த தமிழ்ல அப்படிதான் சொல்றான்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I think so.
சமர்ப்பணம்.
Yeah. Dedicatory spirit.
Surrender. Sharanagati.
Oh, okay. Oh.
See the word Bhagavat Param. So actually there Swami has discussed about the word Mat Param. Which is Bhagavat. Actually in other places in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has used Mat Param.
Yeah.
Mat Paramo, like that he will say. Mat Paramaha. Here he has used the word Bhagavat Paramuha. Swami has used it. Which basically also means you keep the Lord as the supreme. So that means you are offering everything to him. You are taking orders from him. You are doing his work. He is number one. He is the supreme. In everything we do, we only think the Lord is above us. We have to serve him. We are serving for him. Whatever comes belongs to him. All that is embedded in that word Bhagavat Paramo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bhagavat Paramoga. Manmaya Mamupashrita. Other word I think Swami has written.
Yeah, that's Manmaya. Yes.
Manmaya.
Immersed in the Lord. Immersed in the Lord. Yes, Kalyani, you have something.
So does that include like just offering every action to the Lord and then receiving whatever comes as his prasadam?
Yeah, prasadam. Exactly.
He's the boss. Just say, do everything as if he's the boss.
Okay.
In the modern language, he's the boss.
Yes, correct. Okay.
So, Sairam, brother. So, Anandi's questions, brother, the fear. So, Baba always says, Swami always say, when I'm here, why you fear? Thank you, Sairam.
Okay, Sairam. So, the next session will be a discussion on Bhaya and Abhaya and Nirbhaya, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It will be a nice discussion.
Yeah.
So, we will close. It's 4:33. With
Okay.
Samastaloka, we'll close. Sairam, everyone. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Sairam. Sairam.